Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Target. We come to an end of an exciting T20 World Cup. It's been weeks of pure entertainment. It's been a great Cricket World Cup and a great final to conclude this tournament. I have with me Mr. Faiz Tahir, man. We've been watching this tournament since ball one, since the first round, and it's finally come to an end. England winning by 5 wickets and are now the 2022 T20 champions and are also the 50-over champions. They hold both trophies right now. And Josh Butler, the winning captain, credit to them the way they played, especially in the semi-finals and finals. Your initial thoughts on this final in particular?
Yeah, I mean, like we deemed it to be, it didn't sort of fall short of how it was going to turn out. It was an amazing game. I mean, despite whatever happened with Pakistan, but I still feel that the game was not over till like the end, probably the 16th over in the England thing because of the Shaheen injury. Obviously, we'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm elated to see that the probably the better team won throughout the World Cup. Despite me saying yesterday that I was supporting Pakistan, but England played some brilliant cricket, and the man of the moment, the big man who always turns up, Mr. Clutch,
Big
Mr.
man
England,
things, Ben
Mr. Big
Stokes.
Man, Ben Stokes, showing exactly why he's probably the one of the best, or the best for that matter, all rounder of all time right now.
Yeah, man. Presently, the best all around the world. I've been saying this for a good 1 or 2 years now, especially in the last 5, 6 months. I've maintained it. I know that he had a break and everything, but just look at this, man. 2016 World Cup final. The man gets hit for 4 sixes. They lose the T20 World Cup. Of course, then he comes back and he plays that innings in the 2019 final. Straight after that, in 2 months, he goes to in the Ashes at Leeds against Australia. He plays a miraculous knock, with the number 11 at the crease, and now it goes full circle. He's back in a T20 final. He picks up a wicket, and with the bat, he's called upon. You have 3 or 4 for Pakistan bowlers bowling at 145 clicks. It's moving. The ball is moving at the MCG. There's extra bounce there, and it was top class fast bowling from Pakistan. No matter what, you have to admit the way Naseem Shah. You've been talking about him, and I think you got it spot on. The way he was bowling express quick, but Ben Stokes knuckled down. Is like, this is my time
Yeah.
to shine, and big match player. He's mentally so strong. One thing that one of our friends we were watching with Kripan was also telling us that, and I noticed this is that he did play and missed a few, and that's just good bowling. But he didn't give a chance today, and he made sure that he was there till the end.
Yeah, sure. No, definitely. I think it was one of those innings that he, sort of designed very correctly. And usually, like we see this, and the problem with the subcontinent team is that they don't have that sort of, anchor. I mean, yes, the likes of Kohli and stuff, but we're too dependent on them.
Yeah,
But with this England team, they were lucky enough to have good enough batting till the end, which allowed Stokes mentally to be a little bit of have a little bit of freedom, and play his game out and stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely it was important for him to stay. Obviously, he did miss out a lot of balls as well, but he definitely made it up with some amazing, amazing, massive sixes that he showed us. And I think Ben Stokes. This was one of the finest innings I've seen in the World Cup final. I'll have to give it to him. Given the situation, you've lost your top two, top three opening batsmen who are in fine form, and then
Yeah.
you're still losing wickets, and you still have to manage your nerves at the same time. Play at a certain pace that allows you to get to your total. So yeah, that requires a lot of guts and resilience, and I think this man has every bit of being a match winner going forward, as well as he's already proven to us in the
Yeah,
past.
and the main thing is, when those dot balls were being bowled and the pressure was building, because at one time they needed 66 of 63, and suddenly the equation changed to 50 of 36, and the pressure was building. There was dot balls. There was, like, 1 run, 2 run overs. The runs weren't coming through. The ball
Yeah.
was going straight to the keeper. They were struggling. The max they could get was a single. They weren't finding the boundary, but he kept us calm. He knew that, listen, if I'm there, we're winning this. It doesn't matter what happens, even though the run
Yeah.
rate did climb, but he knew that we're going to be winning this. Yeah.
At one point, if you remember, he almost gave away a catch and he put his head down. You know, he thought he was out.
Yeah, the one, the Babar.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, almost just fell short to Bauer, and he just thought, "Shit, what have I done over here?" You know, and I think that would have been a very, big impact on the game. But there were two places, I think, as well, where he was a little bit frightened while running between the wickets. He was slipping a lot. There was obviously a bit of dew on the grass, and he was running on the grass side of the pitch, and he almost slipped there. And like, I think that is
Yeah.
for every England fan, the hearts were in their mouth. I think even we sitting there, we won't want something like that to happen to a player who was on that level of a confidence. And I think, despite all of those, hurdles and everything that were coming in his way, he started managing to stick around for that long and finishing the game. I think credible performance.
Yeah, for sure. Faiz, let's go. We talked a lot about Ben Stokes, and we'll continue to talk about him for days to come, and we can talk about him
Yeah.
more in the episode as well. But let's go into our eye test and just talk about a couple of individual performances. So yeah, man. First, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the situation where, like, a lot of people would say is the turning point. Of course, it got Pakistan back into the game, but
Yeah.
and then it took him out of the game right after. Basically, I'm talking about the Shaheen Afridi catch. So that's for me. For a lot of people that was the turning point. But before we get into
Yeah.
that, someone's came and went just like that. But yeah, let's talk about that.
Just
Shaheen
like
Afridi.
the World Cup in Pakistan's
Yeah,
hand.
I saw on Twitter. I think it was Twitter. It was a meme saying that the Hassan Ali catch, he dropped it and Pakistan lost the World Cup. Shaheen Afridi took this catch and Pakistan lost the World Cup, and they
Yeah.
both had equal. What do you call it? It was equal impact on the game
Yeah.
because Shaheen
Yeah.
Afridi,
Yeah.
after that,
The
those
weightage.
psychologically, everything goes down. If the car comes in, gets hit for a couple of boundaries, and the game
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the weightage of that injury for Shaheen is obviously massive, and there are certain moments which take away the game from you mentally. I think that was one of the things. And speaking of mentally, the boss is in the house, so mentally be alert now. The boss is in the house here.
Hello guys,
How
what's
are
up?
you, sir?
Good, good,
How
good.
are
How are
you?
you?
How are you, man? So I was just telling Fez in the beginning that, man, it's been 3 weeks. We've been watching the games. It's been an exciting tournament, and credit to you, especially. The timings have been really
Yeah,
messed up, but you can sleep normally now. I think, of course, the football World Cup starts, but those timings will be easier for you. You don't have to
Favorable
wake up
timings.
in the middle of the night. It'll be easier doing your work and everything. You can watch on the side, or like on the weekends is also decent. So yeah, man, good stuff done this World Cup. It's been a lot of fun. Your thoughts on the final?
I think it was a fantastic game. I think I enjoy higher scoring T20 finals, but the occasion always gets the better of you in these kind of big stages. The pitch was doing a lot, and it was a very well fought
Yeah.
close game, and that's what we wanted, right? We didn't want any single team to be blown away. I think that even though a 138 after first innings, I was a little skeptical that Pakistan could get blown away, but I think they fought brilliantly, and they proved that they are the best bowling side in this best bowling unit in this tournament.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the batters didn't step up today. When it mattered the most. Even 15 runs more would have really changed this game around completely. A 150, 155 target would have been a completely different story on this pitch. And of course, like as soon while I was joining, I think the Shaheen injury really changed things around for them. Very
Yeah.
unfortunate. I think that if even with the 138, if Shaheen was there for his two overs,
yeah.
I think that they would have really put the pressure on the batsman, because the one ball that he bowled half injured also was a beautiful Yorker that Moin was
Yeah.
not able to get off.
At
You
that
know,
time, Don, it was the equation was 37 of 23, I think, when Iftikhar came into bowl, and the momentum was shifting towards Pakistan. And for me, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about this. For me, it was that Wasim Akram 2 wickets
Mhm.
in the 92 World Cup. It just came back to me. I know we've been talking so much about 92,
Yeah.
or end with 99 ho gaya, not 92. But
Mhm.
the way Shine was coming in, I just felt that, it'll be that's his spell will be the game changing one. Hassan Ali drops a catch, Pakistan out of the World Cup. Shaheen takes a catch, and Pakistan out of the World Cup. And that impact of both the drop and the catch taken was probably equal.
I think very very unfortunate. I think as much like you said. I mean, it's catches when you matches bolte, but this is the situation where catch did not necessarily win you a match. So
It
they
cost, it cost the game. But honestly, again, it's a lot of hindsight stuff. I feel that the game was still in England, tipping towards England. But of course, it would have been maybe a bit more different if the car comes. He hits a couple of, he gets hit for a couple of boundaries. But I still feel that, even if it goes to the last over, they won with 6 balls to spare. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
means that if Shaheen did both, they still could have got there, maybe in
They,
the last over.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think overall they just fought well, but they just didn't have enough runs on the board. And I think I want to credit Faiz, I think, over here, because I think he mentioned about Naseem Shah. Naseem Shah has not been
Yeah.
amongst the wickets, but I think he
100.
mentioned and he backed Naseem Shah. And Naseem Shah bowled a phenomenal 4 overs. I think, even though like the first over, I think he went for a few runs, but in the last two that he came back and bowled in the
He
in the
gave only
second
four.
half,
Yeah.
he gave away only 4 runs. I think in those two, and he was brilliant. I think he was very unfortunate. It reminded me, and I read this on Twitter somewhere. It reminded me of the Wahab Riaz 2015 World Cup when
Yeah.
they had a low score.
Yeah.
Wahab Riaz consistently tormenting
Was
Shane
that against
Watson.
Australia? Yeah, yeah,
Australia.
against
He was
Australia.
tormenting
Yeah, yeah.
Shane Watson, but he didn't get a
Watson.
wicket. Yeah, he didn't get a wicket. In the end, Australia won that convincingly. But I think it was that kind of a spell
Impact.
where it was just missing by minuscule inches. So I think overall, I think that Pakistan should be very happy. Yes, they were given a lifeline by Netherlands. Yes, they were given support through this World Cup. They started off really poorly. Lost to India, lost to Zimbabwe. No one expected them to be back. They had to rely on Netherlands to get them back into the tournament. They came in and they went in the finals. They fought hard in the finals. Credit to them. But we have to talk about the 2015 turnaround of English cricket. This is what you call a turnaround of ruthless nature. They went in, they had a plan, they backed everyone in the England board. They went behind it. Ian Morgan is your guy. He went through it. He won you the 50 over World Cup. He has made the knockouts of every single big ICC tournament since then. The 2016 they lost in the finals because of Carlos Brathwaite's fantastic performance of 5 sixes. Then after that 2019 they won the World Cup. 2022 they won the World Cup. They've been in 5 knockout games in the past 7 years and they won 2 World
20,
Cups.
last year they were in the semis.
Last year they were in the semis, so they made it to the semis and they lost there. So they have all made it all knockouts. They won 2 tournaments. White ball cricket, they are even better than the early 2000s of Australia, in my opinion. Even more formats,
Wow,
and they've been
bit
winning
tall,
them.
Donald.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
तो
you,
बहुत
man,
बड़ा
this is.
it's
I'm
too
they.
big.
I said 99, 2003, 2007 वर्ल्ड कप उन्होंने जीते ऑस्ट्रेलिया. ओके, यहाँ पे 99 2019 का वर्ल्ड कप हो गया, 2022 का वर्ल्ड कप हो गया. Moving forward, I still think that they have all the possibilities to go on and continue being this, because this is a solid team. This is a solid team
Yeah.
that has a lot of togetherness. Butler has taken over the reins. I think the seeds have been sown by Ian Morgan, and he's reaping the benefits of it. But this is a solid team. This is a team that played without Mark Wood. This is a
Can I
team that played
counter
without
you?
Jofra Archer. This is a team that played without Johnny Besto. Imagine these guys coming
Yeah,
back
that's
into
true.
this, man. It's insane
Yeah.
the talent that they have available.
The only thing I would say to counter that, it's not necessary. Like, I agree with you. This is right now is the best white ball team. But the only thing I would counter is that Australian team, they used to win convincingly. Like
And
there
that
was
Australian team, yeah, like the Australian team
fancy
match
नहीं था
शुरू
man.
होने से पहले match शुरू होने से पहले खत्म हो गया था. Like here you still have like a little bit of an
2003
edge.
final check करो, 7 check करो, और 99 का भी check करो. They beat India,
They
they beat Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and India.
India,
Uh,
yeah.
and they just smashed them. So that's the only thing I would
Bro,
say.
but they've
But
also been a little lucky. वो Lance Klusener का event हो गया था where they shouldn't have really made the finals. In
you could say
99.
that about the
But
England New
not
Zealand.
2003, not 2003 and 7. I think 2003, 7 to
2003 also, yeah. I think
TV1,
that
TV1, they made us close to TV. Don, we were at Mustafa's house. I remember, and we
300,
were watching the World Cup.
We were at your house,
360.
bro.
and
Yeah, someone's out.
316. Oh
And we just decided to
man.
close the TV and go play cricket
No, but
ourselves.
but but Don, sorry to break your momentum there. Keep going. I agree. Like with that, you're
I
making a
Yeah,
think
valid
okay.
100%.
I am just making a very bold statement here, and I could be wrong, but I'm just
No, we
thinking of.
like that. We like that.
But I'm just saying that that is what this is on pen and paper. In 2015, a debacle for England.
Yeah.
Then they go in and they go, okay, fine, Ian Morgan, you are our guy. Okay, then Ian Morgan says he wants so and so, so and so, so and so. He was backed through and through. The board was behind him, the selectors were behind him. He got Silverwood, who's his coach. Went through the whole tournament for about 4 5 years. When Silverwood is not working, they removed him quickly. They brought in another person. They changed things around in the test matches also, which was not working. They are making those changes. They are, when things are going down, they are making that change. For someone who's of the same stature in terms of availability of facilities, availability of resources, availability of funds, is the only other team that can match that in England is probably India. But India is not doing the same thing. India is not backing. There's a lot of things there. So it's something that maybe
India
they
should
can
have
learn
changed
from.
the template after the last thing, and they were apparently doing that, but it didn't work out.
I mean, they didn't change the template, right? When it came to pressure matches, they didn't play that way. If they go out like at a 99 all out, yeah. Samjo, for example, instead of going to 150 on that day, like you said, Mustafa, if in hindsight, if we talk about
Wow,
it,
first
they
time we call
went
you.
they went like, if they would have got 90 100 all out in that going all out nature. You have
Yeah.
DK as your finisher. You've played him a whole year.
Don't,
Suddenly
don't,
you
don't go
decide
into
like,
this.
no, but I'm just saying that was your idea, right? That is the thing, and that is the backing that Ian Morgan gave his players.
Yeah.
Adil Rashid was not picking the wickets, but he was creating that pressure. In the
Yeah.
mind, everyone knows that Adil Rashid is a solid player. Then he comes in
Yeah.
the semi-finals, picks up 2 wickets in the finals. He brings in the goods. Sam Curran has been backed through
Bro,
injuries, through,
insane, man.
huh?
I didn't give that man a chance. That the way he
That's
bowled.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. No one gives him a chance. You look at him; he's a youngster who should probably be going to college or
But
something. You're thinking that, but his tenacity and his availability, his nature. He seems like an extremely, like, he's very very willing. He's giving his heart out.
yeah.
He keeps his heart
Yeah.
khulla rakhta, and precise bowling. And you stuck through him through injuries and everything. You bring him back because he brings you another dimension. David Willey is your left arm bowler that probably should was everyone was talking to Willie Kulao, but Willie doesn't come in. Topley gets injured at the last minute. Karan comes in and bowls a fantastic uh, 4 overs, 3 for 12, man. I mean, at this point in time, what else can you expect? So, hats off to this English side. Well done to Pakistan, but hats off to this English side. I think they deserved winners at this point.
Don't know what is the speed he bowls at? 134, 135?
Yeah,
Yeah.
135, 140.
120,
If
123 to
he,
135, I
yeah,
think.
I think he can click it up to 140, but that's rare.
To 4 overs, 12 runs, 3 wickets.
12 runs,
Economy
three
of three.
wickets. Yeah.
So I think he has something to say when you say Pakistan is hands down the best bowling lineup in this tournament. I think him and
Of course.
I think Sam Curran has something to say about that. Like he's been
Indivi-
outstanding. And apart from that,
individually, I think Sam Curran's been the best bowler through the tournament. But I think as a bowling unit, I think that Pakistani bowlers commend each other very well. I think here everyone, I mean, England is like from 1 to 11, they are fantastic. Individually as a team, this that they are fantastic. But I still think that as a bowling unit, if Pakistan gave 15 runs more to this bowling unit, they win you the World Cup. It's as simple as that for
Yeah,
me.
probably. Yeah,
and
probably.
why didn't they give those 15 runs? Because of England's bowling.
Not necessarily. I think that wouldn't be English bowling, Mustafa. I think it was just the way they play out the last 4 or 5 overs. They were just looking to hit, rather than taking the ones and twos. I think that was also something that they should have done. They were probably, I think,
It was
140
false.
at, oh no, 130, 123 is when we discussed. I asked you guys the final score, and that was like the 13th or the 12th over. Even by if they take one twos and one twos, they would have easily reached like 150 to 155. So
I
I
think
think
they
it
went in
was.
that, yeah, they went in to try to get 170 and they got all out
Yeah,
140.
they,
They should
they
have
they took up
targeted
too much than they
150.
could have afforded. They took up too much than they could have afforded, and I
And
think that backfired on them. Like our friends discussed today, even we saw a lot of problems with their like the fitness. Didn't look that fit, and they just thought they could clear the MCG boundaries very easily. वो कॉन्फिडेंस में आके मतलब ऑलरेडी इंडिया पाकिस्तान में 160 मारे हमला probably वो भी कॉन्फिडेंस लेके चल रहे थे. But I think the single doubles really had needed to be there, and I think they were not able to take the tools and the quick tools, the cheeky tools
Magar,
that we saw in England.
they were forced to do that. If you see the middle overs, the way Sam Curran bowled, and then you see Adil Rashid, the way he bowled, he didn't give them a sniff. Yes,
Yeah.
like he picked up two important wickets, and but like look at his economy 5.5. He's been like this throughout the whole tournament. He made them play into that position. Like in the last three overs, they didn't give them a choice. You have to try and hit, and they didn't have the quality batting then because the main batsmen were
But
trapped.
उड़ा दिए ना, how did they do it? उड़ा के निकाल, like, right? See, if you like, let's just take Ben Stokes for a match, for an example. Ben Stokes is a smasher, but how did he pan out his innings? He took the 1-2s and रुका दिया, जब देने का किसको दिया? चाचू को दिए. चाचू को तो बचपन याद दिला दिए. My point is, हमेशा जब अपन back foot पे खेलना सीखना है ना, like they have to wait for their moment, they have to wait for that 1 minute, one bowler who is going to give you that 20 to 15 run over.
And I
Illa,
think they
no
could have
one, no
targeted.
one
Mixture
waited.
of
Who
both.
waited? Nawaz. हाँ.
It's a mixture of both because जो बाबर को delivery
Mixture of
उन्हें
both.
डाला, that is unbelievable ball. It's not a
हाँ.
bad shot. Couldn't
This
do
is not
anything about it.
I'm talking mostly about the overs from the 15 to the 20th. I'm not even talking about Babar.
मगर
Babar का तो
प्रेशर
देखो
वहीं
वो
से
बॉल
बिल्ड हुआ, राइट? प्रेशर वहीं से बिल्ड
हाँ.
हुआ. आपका प्रेशर 15 to 20th कैसा बिल्ड हुआ? बाबर was getting stuck at the crease. They lost the wickets. Haris lost his wicket. Haris also was out of sorts today because the bowling was proper, man. Apart from the first no ball, I felt yes, you're right that end में अंधा मारने गए. They should have done single double and taken it to 150.
Because
So that
13th या 14th over पे 123 थे, if I'm not wrong. At one stage they were 123, and that's when I remember asking you and our friend, what do you guys predict the final score will? And I felt it. We both said 160 because we thought आराम से 160 तो चले जाएंगे. And at that time Shadab and someone else was at the pitch. I think Iftikhar or someone was at the pitch. तो वो अगर वो सिचुएशन में सिर्फ 1-2 प्ले आउट करते थे, तीन ओवर में अगर लेट्स से मिनिमम 18 रन भी मारे तो 140 तो वैसे भी आ गए थे.
Don,
So
do you think
I
it's because of sorry, I mean on Faiz's point only, I'm saying, do you think that's also because of what happened in the game before, the way England beat India, that played on Pakistan's mind, that they need at least
They
one
need a few more. Yeah, that's
170?
probably. I'm pretty sure. I mean, the way India got blown out, but that I keep going back to that. I keep going back to the fact that that game was a special innings by Alex Hales, who completely dominated. The pitch was not providing the kind of assistance that this pitch was providing. You have to, at that time, the important thing is experienced players like your coaching staff or your Babar Azams or your Mohammad Rizwans at that point in time need to take
yeah.
the sting. You can't expect a Shadab to understand that because he's a younger player. He's still experienced. But over there, you need to know that, ठीक है भाई, कि अभी क्या है situation, हमारी bowling अच्छी है. We have, if we can get to 150, 155, we are in this game. और वो लास्ट के 3 ओवर में जो लांदी मारने गई है, वो उससे अच्छा अगर उन्हें 15 रन और फोकस करते थे तो 150, 145, 150 पॉइंट्स गए ना, this is a completely different game. And that is what I'm
exactly.
thinking.
And first, the other guy I want to discuss in the eye test is Josh Butler. I criticized him a lot in terms of captaincy, but I always used to tell Don he's the next AB de Villiers. I always liked he was my favorite batsman. Even the IPL, I always used to pick him. But Butler, what I wanted to talk about is his batting today. You know that Naseem Shah, the first 2 overs Don mentioned, that was the game changer, if you can say at the end. Like,
Yeah.
he made sure that Ben Stokes didn't need to panic.
Yeah, definitely. He gave them that pedestal to sort of, go ahead and like let Ben Stokes like carry on his innings. So I think वो innings जो है बहुत underrated है अभी के लिए, अगर लोग नहीं समझ रहे, because उन्हें momentum थोड़ा set करके दिया. If he would have not actually played that innings and sort of given that breathing space to Ben Stokes to actually settle down, and then he left before that, and Ben Stokes भी परेशान रहता था, अरे इन्हें भी चले गया, अब मैं क्या करूं. तो आई थिंक बेन स्टोक्स वो फ्लिक भी कैसा मारा उन्हें, अम्मा जो उन्हें पीछे, आई डोंट नो हु, शादाब को दिया
नहीं, फास्ट बॉलर को दिया था.
It was Wasim.
हारिस राव,
नहीं,
नसीम को दिया.
शाह को
Wasim.
दिया भाई.
That was
भाई.
a beautiful shot. वो सिचुएशन में खेलना, and he got on the nerves of the bowlers in the beginning. Bowlers को भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, but then I think once Haris Rauf came into attack, that made a lot of difference for Pakistan. But yeah, Josh Butler, I've been backing him since the last 3 games. He's not disappointed me as a fantasy pick. And his captaincy, from what we spoke from the beginning of the tournament to now, speaks like multitude. And I think there's no saying that he is definitely going to be one of the best captains England is going to have for a long time, probably.
My only thing is, I don't think Butler is a long-term solution. I think he's going to be there for the next year or two. I don't think he has it in him. He's in his 30s already. I think that there will be
Mhm.
players as a captain, wicketkeeper, and a batter, opening batter. I think he's involved in the game a lot more, and I think that's going to take a toll on him. But I think he's going to be
Yeah,
available till the 24-25 World Cup, and then he's probably going to, quieten down. I think that's the next 2 years that
yeah.
shows that he has the World Cup in India. Then he has the 24 World Cup in West Indies as well,
West Indies, yeah.
West Indies in America. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the short stint that he has, then he has to, England has to start thinking of a player or a person who's a little bit younger that can take you for the next 5-7 years. Butler is a good stopgap arrangement, but he's not your long term solution.
Also, I think the way England has set up now, the way Morgan has laid the platform and he set that foundation, which is so crucial. I think anybody can really lead. If you saw Moeen Ali did a fabulous job against Pakistan in that seven-match series. Of course, Moeen Ali is also in his 30s. So there's 6 or 7 players in their 30s, Don. And we talk about Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli in
Adil
their
Rashid,
30s.
yeah, yeah.
यहाँ पे तो पूरे 6-7 लोग 30s में है. So I don't know who's going to be the next captain, but I think the foundation that he set, it's like this mindset and everything. You see Harry Brook also coming in, all these guys coming in. They know now like what they need to do to be in this England team and how they can maintain their status. They have to play aggressive cricket and they have to go
Yeah.
for it.
Sam Curran's my shout for the next big long term captain. 25 years old. He is a mainstay in this side as a good all rounder. I think he has the capability to do it.
And that's where Fez always talks about this because he's also a gym addict. Fitness comes into play because when you have so many formats going on, आप देखो इन लोग पूरे 30s में है. They're all fit, man, and they're running. And another thing is that if you see Josh Butler test नहीं खेल रहा, Ben Stokes one day नहीं खेल रहा,
Exactly.
so
Exactly. That is the
they're
biggest
being
thing.
smart about it, and that's
Exactly.
Ajay Jadeja and both of you can have your take on this. Jadeja had said on Crick Bus that and Sehwag, which was true, that the Indian team after the IPL, when do they play together? You have Rahul get injured, Rohit get injured, Samson is playing one game, this is happening, that is happening, which is
100%.
completely right. They're not gelling together. In the bilaterals, somehow Rohit gets injured, Kohli takes a rest. They're not playing together. I agree. But this
Yeah.
England team
Absolutely.
don't play together either, right? Like in the Pakistan, Stokes ne khela, Livingston ne khela, Butler ne khela.
You have to be smart about your choices. That's all I'm saying. ठीक है भाई, हर player will get injured, players will need rest and everything. I'm totally fine with that. I'm worried about the IPL taking such a toll on you, and then you are saying that okay ठीक है, अब रोहित शर्मा को आप red ball captain बनाएंगे, white ball captain बनाएंगे, उन्हें खेल रहा ही
Yeah.
नहीं. Okay,
Yeah.
at that point in time, the ruthless nature here would have been that ठीक है, Rohit Sharma, you are 36 years old, your red ball career is limited, you're not going to be able to do anything over there. Focus on white ball, focus on that. तो आपको ऑटोमेटिकली रेस्ट मिल जाता जब इंडिया टेस्ट मैच खेल रहे. ऑटोमेटिकली आपको 15-20 दिन का रेस्ट मिल रहा ना भाई, आप वो टाइम पे रेस्ट करो, फिर आप वनडे के लिए आओ और आप अपना परफॉर्मेंस दो, सो दैट यू डोंट गेट इंजर्ड इन द व्हाइट बॉल. देयर आर ओनली फ्यू प्लेयर्स इन योर 20s दैट यू वांट टू कीप इन, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अ केएल राहुल और a Rishabh Pant or someone like that.
Ishan Kishan, yeah.
Or Ishan Kishan, these are in your 20s. These are good players that are in your 20s. You want to develop them. ठीक है भाई, उन लोगों को टेस्ट खिलाओ. Give the opportunity to someone like a KL Rahul, who's probably a more possible option as your future next 5-7 years का टेस्ट ओपनर. Right, 5 साल का समझो, he's 29 now. आप 35 तक तो खेलेंगे, तो 35 तक KL Rahul is your option. I'm not saying KL Rahul only, या जो भी है, for example, whoever it is, at 36 you're giving red ball captaincy to Rohit Sharma. This is, in my opinion, very silly. Okay, and वो चीजों को, वही चीज हमारा जो है, हम लोग इमोशंस में भेजा थे, रूथलेस नेचर वहां पे दिखाना पड़ता. विराट कोहली gives up your test matches. ठीक है भाई, विराट कोहली is giving up your captaincy, came a little bit of surprise. Take a few minutes, take a few days to settle down and think of what is the best for approach forward. अब रोहित शर्मा वो टाइम पे अच्छा चल रहा बोले तो उसको चला दे रहे. उसका एज देखो ना भाई, अभी नहीं चल रहा उसका even as a batsman also, he's not the same that he was 2 years back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Also,
that is the thing.
yeah, and also I think they have to they have to not fear losing, because if you see this England team, Fez, these guys lost to Ireland.
Exactly.
They lost to
Yeah,
Ireland in
yeah.
this T20. They've in that 2019 World Cup when they won, they lost to Sri Lanka, and वो भी कैसा हारे थे वो match. They needed like 50 or 70 and एकदम से collapse होके हार गए. Malinga आके last over he came and he cleaned it up. So England are not afraid of losing. हारते they move on to the next thing, and England also have media pressure, not as much as India, but England's media scrutinizes their team selection and all that, but they're not scared of losing. हार गए तो हार गए भैया, next game.
I think that is because there is basically a very good relationship between the management and the team, and that is something that we cannot adapt in India because there are too many egos in India. That is, we have to call spade to spade because अगर आप selection committee का वो देखो या Morgan or Butler, whoever takes the calls, they have the freedom to do that. You can have three separate teams, three separate captains, and no player is going to raise a voice against that. But if you do
Hmm.
it here in India, you're going to have so many. Before that, it actually comes to the players. Most of the players will be like, हमें तो मालूम ही नहीं हम खेल रहे थे. इतना बुरा हाल रहता है इंडिया में कि we didn't even know till the last minute we're actually going to play. Oh, am I playing? Oh, I'm in the team. There is so much kind of a gap between the management and the team itself that there are a lot of other people in the middle who are going to make calls rather than the people who are actually on the field. I think Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid, the people in the management, let it be Saurav Ganguly, let it be anybody, they need to sit down and sort of pass their egos, come up with a systemized, a system where you have T20 separate, you have Test cricket separate, and ODI. And the players really need to understand. I understand you're sportsmen. We've all played sports. We know that whenever die attitude रहता है भाई हम खेलेंगे मरे तब तक खेलेंगे. But एक टाइम के बाद आपकी बॉडी नहीं कर सकती आपकी बॉडी, and that is why I always come back to Dhoni. Man, Dhoni is the best example because he knew when he had to hang his boots up. He knew it. He said कि भैया मेरी बॉडी साथ नहीं दे रही.
खींचा है
It's time.
2019 वर्ल्ड कप, खींचा उन्हें, हरा दिया था
वो
अफसोस।
खींचा, बट
A
भाई
lot
उन्हें
of
उन्हें
feedback.
लेके उन्हें भाई यहाँ लड़ाई हो जाएंगे. देखो धोनी के लिए तो मैं, and Dhoni even in the IPL you still see his fitness, man. He's still the best runner in between the
रन आउट हो
wickets
गया था
at
हमें
that age.
सेमीफाइनल।
रन आउट हो गया था लेकिन भाई जब तक तो आपको उम्मीद थी. अब रोहित अगर वो इस टाइम पे
नहीं,
अभी
जडेजा
रोहित
जब आउट हुआ था उसके
उम्मीद
बाद
नहीं.
नहीं थी।
ये मुश्किल बात
एग्जैक्टली.
है इसको sideline में
I know.
उसको.
Okay. Yeah, listen, let me go on to, let's still talk about this England team. Don, um, you picked your fantasy pick, man. What a pick! What a play! Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of me? What are you proud of, man? Because I've been backing this guy non-stop for the last 6 months. I've been back 1 year. I've been backing him. I'm telling you, he's the best all-rounder in the world, and not because I'm a genius. It's because he's a genius. I've seen him do this, bro.
Bro,
It's
time
not to
and
do with.
time again. Yeah, I'm just saying one thing, okay? When he burst onto the scene 7 8 years back, whenever it is, I think
Why
2013 or
did
was
you
it?
compare
No,
him with
I'm
Hardik
just
Pandya?
no. Okay, fine. First of all, comparisons was just to piss you off a little bit more because I know it was irritating you. I completely agree that Hardik Pandya in his own way is a very special batsman.
No, did
He's
you
a
feel? Did you feel after the after, like, took the break and everything? Even the test matches, he wasn't
yes,
going. Did you
yes.
feel that because after that mental break that he took, that he's not going to get to that level again? Did you feel that?
I think completely. I think that break has done him a world of good. I think that you people will get tired. It is very very difficult for even because as a society, the pressure that we have on a society level. I don't think the Indians, like for example, the scrutiny that the Indian team is getting now. कि अरे आप लोग क्या कर रहे, KL Rahul कितना scrutiny, Rishabh Pant कितना scrutiny, Chahal, Ash, whoever, Rohit Sharma himself. Maybe only Sky and Virat are probably not getting that kind of scrutiny because they had a decent tournament, and maybe Arshdeep as well, who's already gone through his thing when he dropped that catch. Just imagine that kind of level that it goes through your mentally, irrespective of take up social media nahi dekh rahe, ye nahi kar rahe, wo nahi kar rahe. Mentally, that will bog you down. And these players have insane amount of pressure. So there are these breaks that are needed where they completely, check out and then come back in because it's not easy. Okay. With that being said, I think a break like that did a world of good to Ben Stokes. Comes in as a test match. He changes the test match scene around because of Brendan McCullum's coaching and his captaincy. They change the test match scene around. Decides to take a break from ODIs for good because it's not that he realizes his body, at even though he's only 32, 33, if I'm not wrong, he still realizes that he can't play all three formats. Takes a break from the one days and he has focuses on the T20s. Comes back in the T20s. He's not the best. Everyone is questioning his Stokes' position. We also discussed it even before that Michael Atherton had an interview about how Stokes kind of derails this side a little bit and everything. Big
Yeah.
match when you need a big player, steps up like a boss and scores that 50, takes you home with a over to spare. Just hats off to this man. 2016 के वो 5 6s के बाद this man has changed and he's changed for the better. And there's no other big match player in this day and age like Ben Stokes.
And out of the three match winning innings that we remember is the
The
2019
World
one,
Cup
the World Cup Ashes, and
and the Ashes
World
and
Cup.
this one.
And then this one. This was the least fluent one. right?
Of
Like,
course, of
and the
course.
strike rate was low and everything was low, but it's not about that. It's just about winning the game for your team, and
in
he
the
knows
in
how to
the
do
in the Ashes, he played with Jack Leach for the most part. Okay, so that's insane. In the World Cup, you can say, ठीक है भाई, आपको थोड़ा luck मिला, वो bat से चले गया चौवा and all that happened and everything that you can say. What will you say today? Not fluent. Everything was proper. Still comes out, scores that 50, gets your team past the line, which is the most important thing. Stuck it out when it was necessary. If he had gotten out at an earlier stage, this side could have collapsed. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that, someone like a Moeen Ali and Liam Livingston could have a worldie and they could have still won. But I think that the importance of having a Ben Stokes in the mentally also, अपन आप खुद भी बोल रहे थे कि ठीक है, as long as Ben Stokes is there, they have a chance. Even though the pressure was getting a little bit, you were talking about 39 of 23, this, that, ho raha tha, but everyone knew कि chance hai. He got a little lucky with being able to hit Iftikhar off for a couple of boundaries, relieve that pressure, but even then finished it with an over to spare. So he is that the I have no words to say the way he performed, and I am just happy that विनय को मैं prove कर दिया wrong कि मैं बोला इंग्लैंड जीतती है और मेरा player of the match बेन स्टोक्स था. मैं उसको कर रहा से सता
इसका
रहा
मैं क्लिप निकाल के भेजूंगा.
Don
मेरे को
finishes
please.
in style. He finishes with the bang. When it counts, Don comes to the party just like Ben
I'm Ben
Stokes. And
Stokes.
that's what it is,
Yeah.
Don. That's exactly what it is, right? Like, he is that type of player. कि match आपको लेके उन्हें जिताएंगे. He'll come when it's needed. Like, when it's needed, he'll step up. He picked up a wicket also today, and he stepped up, man, to the plate. Pressure, no pressure, that doesn't matter. The run rate, it was 66 required of 63, and then it became 50 of 36. The run rate jumped, but he was
Absolutely,
always in
absolutely.
control.
And
He was always
he knew it that all he needed to do is take it till the end, and he will
Yeah.
win you the game. So वो तो
और
risk ले रहा था.
उन्हें ऐसा प्लेयर है कि अगर शाहीन डाला भी, he would have attacked him.
करा लेता था, निकाल लेता था उन्हें 100%. The thing
He
is,
would have
he
attacked him.
realized कि शाइन के overs नहीं है. That's why he didn't take a risk against Rauf. You know what
Yeah.
Virat had to do was take a risk against Rauf because he knew that he had to get on with it, right?
Yeah.
तो वो क्या हुआ? He's smart about it. He's an extremely smart cricketer. Realized कि शाइन के overs अभी नहीं आएंगे. Didn't take that risk against Rauf in the over. The following over जब वसीम आया उसको मार दिया उन्हें. Last
Yeah.
over में अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो मारेंगे, but जरूरत नहीं पड़ी, खत्म हो गया game.
Yeah, and
Moeen
Moeen
भाई
Ali's
खत्म कर दिया.
contribution fez. My fantasy pick, bro. मेरी भी तारीफ कर लो थोड़ा बहुत.
बिल्कुल भाई. मेरा
अब इसमें
मेरा पिक तो बॉलिंग ही नहीं का. मेरा पिक को तो इज्जत भी नहीं दिया यार बेचारे को. नवाज भाई आई थिंक वो तो खैर बात करेंगे. अभी अपन इफ्तिखार को बॉलिंग करना था या नहीं, बट या मोइन भाई आके जो आई थिंक कमेंटेटर भी बोला मोइन दिस गिव अस अ कैमियो, एंड मोइन कैमियो क्या कैमरी
Yeah.
सब लेके चले गया. Moin Bhai came
That's
out
what
fearlessly, and
reaction
again
था.
he set himself up first. Again जैसे उन्होंने आते हैं उन्होंने अपना बैट लेते, पहले समझते भाई क्या है आज विकेट कैसा है, ऐसा बैट करना है, चलो ठीक है, घुमाए, एज 4 लग गया, जिता दिए, खत्म, घर को आ
ये
गया.
कवर के ऊपर
मतलब
अच्छा हमारा शॉट होने
वो शॉट
मोइन
अच्छा
अली.
था.
yeah,
वसीम
वो
जबरदस्त शॉट
जबरदस्त
था.
था.
बेचारा मोहम्मद वसीम का ओवर चेंजिंग पॉइंट था. आफ्टर दैट इफ यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट इट, वो कैच जो शाइन पकड़ा उसके बाद अगर कुछ चेंज हुआ तो वो मोहम्मद वसीम का ओवर, उसमें जो 12-13 रन चले गए ना, वहां पे चेंज हो गया गेम.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think like it also took off pressure from Ben Stokes. Ki, like, bhai, main hu yahan pe, I'll help you out and we'll take this game. Because what was happening with Harry Brook, even he was missing the
Yeah.
deliveries, playing in miss, playing miss, that just built up the
Yeah,
run rates.
but that's what, like, फिर भी तुम देखो हैरी ब्रूक भी मारने वाला है, बेन स्टोक्स, बट इन लोग जिस तरीके से सिंगल डबल इवन हैरी ब्रूक में like 20 or 17 balls or something, but slow करे कुछ भी problem, they made up the runs. That's what I'm saying. Again with the Pakistani team, it was just to hold up on their nerve, and they हो जाए मारने के उसमें जाने, लाइक प्रेशर आगे आए गैरेट पे कि प्रेशर बिल्ड होता आप पे, बट आप इतनी भी तरीके से मारने नको जाओ कि आप यू जस्ट गिविंग अप इजी कैचेस एट द एंड ऑफ इट, एंड वो सिंगल डबल वो तो गेम में होगा ही. आप वो नहीं लोगे तो आप कैसे भी आप रन से बना पाओगे. इवन इफ यू हिट 2 4 5 बाउंड्रीज भी आप मान लो 20 रन से ज्यादा नहीं, बट वो सिंगल डबल हैज टू कीप टिकिंग द स्कोर बोर्ड.
And first, to your point, I think Nawaz didn't bowl because there was 2 left-handers on the pitch. Left arm bowler वो एंगल अच्छा हो जाता ना.
फिर भी मेरे लिए वो सिचुएशन में क्या है, इफ्तिखार ठीक है भाई डाल सकता, बट इन दैट सिचुएशन नवाज हैड एटलीस्ट प्रूवन हिमसेल्फ इन द लास्ट 2 मैचेस ऑन इकोनॉमिकल रहा. 2 लेफ्ट आर्म्स है, इट्स अ बेटर रिस्क देन आई थिंक इफ्तिखार को देना एट दैट पॉइंट, फॉर मी
But
एटलीस्ट,
Iftikhar
बिकॉज़
last game में अच्छा था ना. He took 2 wickets also.
Also,
So
I
they
think
had
they
confidence.
were worried that Moeen will also go after him. If it was just Stokes,
both
maybe they would have.
left-handers.
Yeah,
And then
if
that
maybe it was
angle
just
is easy for mid-wicket, no?
yeah. If it was just
एक अगर एक ओवर पहले नसीम शायद शाहिन शाह की अगर इंजरी मालूम आती थी इन लोगों को, तो probably नसीम को भी रोक लेते थे. Like if it
एकदम.
happened in the early hours of the thing, but unfortunately बेचारों को
Bichara,
हटा के side.
that wry smile at the end of it, he just, you feel bad for the bowler,
Yeah.
because young age, 24 years old, he is the talisman bowler of the side. Even though I think Rauf and Naseem were excellent, I think, without Shaheen, I think वो moral, I think impact हो गया था उन लोगों को. And then
Yeah.
if the car got hit for a couple boundaries, I feel like everyone in the back of their minds is starting to think it. ठीक है भाई, now Stokes is gonna win
Yeah,
the
now
game.
it's
Oh,
done.
so but Don, I'll also like talk about it, like not to be harsh or anything, but if you see the England Sri Lanka game, that also went down to the wire when it shouldn't have gone, right? Like England sometimes do take the games deep. They calculate a bit. Yes, you can say Naseem Shah's spell was outstanding, but I think the way England were playing, they want to take it deep. They didn't want to take any chances, and they took it like that. That's what I just felt. Of course, the plain misses, you can't really say that okay, they plan to miss that ball or anything, but I just feel the way England was playing, they're not full, they weren't in full flow, and both pitches, the one against Sri Lanka and the one against Pakistan, it was a bit tricky, so they realized
And
they have to take it deep.
and that is why, because when the pitches are not tricky and they can blow you away like they did to India,
They'll blow you
they
away, yeah,
have
like
the
against India.
capability. Yeah, they have that capability as well. अगर वो नहीं हो रहा, खाली हर गेम डीप में लेके जाके जिता रहे बोले, तो you would have been a little bit worried.
Yeah,
But
that's
यहाँ
where
पे
they
you know that
matured.
the capability is.
This is where the Morgan 2.0 philosophy, where thoda sa play according to the situation also and
Basically, what you're
attack.
saying is that 2019 World Cup ka Sri Lanka debacle doesn't happen. The Ireland game also wouldn't have happened if the rain was there. Moeen Ali was
Yeah,
starting getting to his flow, आराम से जीते थे. They got unlucky with
Yeah.
the Ireland game.
सही बोल रहे. Yeah, I think
नहीं,
you're
also I think वो थोड़ा डीप लेने का ये भी सीन हो सकता है कि भाई मिडिल ऑर्डर उतना परफॉर्म नहीं करी थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड कप इंग्लैंड की,
exactly.
एंड आई थिंक वो भी एक सीन हो सकता था कि भाई स्टोक्स वेंट अवे एंड देन मोइन संभालने को संभालता लग जाएगा, लिविंगस्टोन डज समथिंग व्हाट पाकिस्तानी बैट्समैन डिड, एंड सैम करन कितना ही मारेगा, तो आई थिंक वो और प्रेशर ऐड करता था. तो आई थिंक वहां पे होल्ड सिचुएशनल, जैसे तुम लोग बोले कि दैट वाज वेरी नेसेसरी कि they played according to the situation rather than going and hitting जल्दी खत्म करने का.
Also, I think except for that one over when Naseem bowled exceptionally well and just gave 2 runs, I think in that over,
Yeah.
that was the only over at the end of that over that they were behind the Duckworth Lewis method also. Every other over में they were, वो commentators भी बोल रहे थे, they are 1 run ahead or they are 3 runs ahead, they are on par. I think back of the mind with how अगर बारिश आ गई तो they have to be ahead by 1 run तो भी minimum. I think that was the only over. उसके बाद के over में change हो गया game वापस.
Yeah.
So,
Don, one person that we didn't mention in the eye test that I really have to mention is Adil Rashid. We touched upon
Adil
him,
bhai.
that delivery against Babar Azam, but man, Australia had Zampa last year. He was, for me, the bowler of the tournament. And now it's a close one between Sam Curran and Adil Rashid. Probably Sam Curran takes it, but for me as well. But the way Adil Rashid bowled, man, and for a leg spinner, it doesn't matter if he goes for runs, you need wickets. Here, ulta ho gaya. Like, he took a few wickets, but it's runs jo ne control kara, basically.
yeah, I think Adil
Abhi
Rashid
डकार मारे
is
भाई हमारे म्यूट करके.
मैं
हाँ,
अच्छा
हमारे
नहीं.
भाई डकार मारे म्यूट करके.
नहीं, I'm just
ढका नहीं खासा. Yeah.
I think like you mentioned about Zampa, I think Adil Rashid is a gem for this English bowling side. We talk about it. He always kind of goes a little bit under the radar because we talk about the likes of Wood, Archer, अपना Wokes, इन सब के बारे में बात करते हैं. But he has been their mainstay since 2015. Even in that, he's quietly been there. He's learned, he's improvised, he's learned new tactics. He learned to bowl the dusra. He's been very, very consistent for England for about a few years now. So how much of a praise do you give him? It's not enough. There was in the middle, they had the Parkinsons and stuff like that come in, but no one got the level of what Al Rashid is providing game in, game out for you. So I think jitna bhi aap baat kar lo, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I think Adil Rashid is your mainstay bowler, and he has time and again proved a very, very important cog for your team. And I'm extremely surprised that he doesn't get a IPL contract after bowling so significantly well time after time. Maybe it's something to do with, like, not backing English players, because unna वापस Stokes के ऐसा unna वापस, they take their name out, yeah, whatever, we don't really know what the problem is. But Australia does that as well. But Australian players, every player gets it. But I'm really
Also, I
surprised
think
that
because
spinners.
it's a foreign player, even Zampa didn't get picked and stuff
I'm
like that. So
surprised by that. Even I think Shamsi, Champa, and Adil Rashid, all three of them should definitely make a side, because Indian leg spinners aren't out there. I mean, you probably have only a Kuldeep and a Chahal who are out there who are known proper bowlers. For example, just अपन हमेशा Sunrisers के पास जाते हैं, and I know why, because we have a bond with Sunrisers. But the Sunrisers could have done with a spinner at this point in time. They could have
Yeah.
easily. Shreyas Gopal was not working. Tried a couple others, did not really work.
सनराइजर्स के लिए तो ग्लेन फिलिप्स है यार, वो तो भी नहीं मालूम है.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. That's the thing. It's just surprising that a lot of
Well, I
people.
love how you take all the topic, either it goes to India or Sunrise, ऐसा घुमा के लेके आते हैं. सवाल
वो
कुछ
क्या
था,
था आलम,
पूरा link कर देते. I knew
analysis
I was
यहाँ
going
पे
to tell
होता.
you, do not link this to Chahal and this and that. I was going to tell you because
But
we will talk about that.
I
It
think
is a link.
as a flaw in my analysis, I always bring back Mera, because back of mind India or Sunrisers चलते रहता,
It's
so
not a flaw,
it
but I like
somehow
the
comes
enthusiasm.
back. So
No,
somehow
I like the
breaks into
enthusiasm.
that. As an example, I'm just saying that Adil Rashid has consistently for the past 5-6 years been very, very consistent for England, and hats off to him. You don't talk much about him, but he has been just phenomenal for them. I
Phenomenal,
think just in general, I think that I always think about the whole unit as a whole has all been very consistent through them, and that's why they've been consistently winning.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And today the Bollywood to Babar Azam was insane, man. It jacked
टर्न
back
जो
in.
मिला उसको यार, टू मच था वो.
क्या
You have
how
to
much?
you have to make
मैं
use of
इसको
the
बाद में भी
punches
पूछा
available.
था, out कैसा हुआ? Like अभी पूछा मैं, like how did he get out? Like because it was caught and bowled, but he cut it. Like it was weird. Just the
Purchase जो आ रहा है ना, वो purchase बहुत beautiful था उसका.
Yeah, that's why you need a
Yeah, I
really
think
good left in your team in T20
yeah,
cricket.
something else that I think Adil Rashid has taught most of the bowlers out there, and I feel कि भाई we give a lot of importance to people who take wickets, या जो एकदम से stat padders या जो भी बोला आप एक नेदरलैंड से 5 विकेट ले लेते हैं, आप 6 विकेट ले रहे, कि आप बॉलर है. But I think it's all about saving those runs, man. This is why I like Naseem as well throughout the World Cup. उन्हें कितने runs बचाया पाकिस्तान को, कितने. I think economy has become very underrated in T20. Economy अगर आप maintain करो, आप उतने ही अच्छे bowler है. आप Sam Curran obviously was outstanding because he did both of those things, where he was economical at the same time he took a lot of wickets. But with like Adil Rashid, उन्हें 2 main wicket तो ले लिया, एक हारिस की ले लिया, एक किसकी बाबर की ले लिया. But उन्हें throughout 4-5 इससे ज्यादा economy I think
And
उसकी
it's
थी नहीं.
tougher to do that for a leg spinner.
Yeah,
Because
and it's tougher to do first, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's
he's beating you in flight. He's beating you with the turn. He has like there's much more things he has to think about to try and get that dot ball there. And normally
Exactly.
that's why we say leg spinners. It doesn't matter if they go for runs because wicket is से थोड़ा खामोश हो जाता strike rate. But he didn't. The way he bowled in, वो भी Australian conditions ऐसा नहीं है कि rank turners चल रहे हैं यहाँ पे. It's these are good pitches to bat on, man, and good like they're
And
actually
good players of spin, man. India के against भी
India
करा
and
उन्हें,
Pakistan,
पाकिस्तान
yeah.
के. Yeah.
I think
Surya
that's
को
a
निकाला
fantastic
उन्होंने.
point. I think that's a fantastic point. Only one, because you have that you're holding it, and then you create that pressure. And I think it was the New Zealand game or the Sri Lanka game. I can't remember exactly, that Liam Livingston and Adil Rashid are bowling in tandem.
Yeah.
Adil Rashid was giving 2-3 run in the over, and Liam Livingston दूसरे end से wickets ले रहा था. He ended up with 3 wickets. Adil got 0. Adil got 0, but he was 4 overs, 16 runs, 0 wickets or something. But Liam Livingston on the other side, when they bowled 5-6 overs in tandem, he took 3 wickets. So that is a because you have only 4 overs. You want to go in, and then you try to take a risk against Liam, and you go sky it, and he gets a wicket. So that combination bowling is extremely important. So that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think, man, congratulations to England, because what Don mentioned is very important, that they didn't have Beresford, they didn't have Jofra Archer, so many players that you want to bank
Mark
on. They
Wood.
didn't have Mark Wood in the finals.
Yeah, they star bowler.
Again, credit to the team management, because that's a big call. He could have also played 1-2 over डाल के, अगर उन्हें भी ऐसा injured हो गया था, then
It's what we just spoke about yesterday. We spoke about this yesterday. We said, would you take the risk? And I said, no, because ये exact situation में सोचा था for obviously Shine was clear. हाँ, वो तो clear था. On left-hander है ना, तो उल्टा ही होगा. But it was the same thing कि भाई अपन कहीं को risk लेना. I think Shine, if he felt something, अब वो नहीं बोलना कि if he felt anything before the match and he hid it from the team, that would be something sad to hear. But
I think more the impact. He was already not 100%, but like that was impact from the catch. He just probably hit the knee where he was injured from.
And
one play we didn't talk about. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said England management I think that they were so confident in Chris Jordan as a backup bowler that they didn't have to worry about Mark Wood coming in. Even though they were okay, ठीक है, उन्हें थोड़े runs देता, but he'll be good enough. That bowler, he'll give you those overs in the end, and that's what he did. I think credit to the bowling unit. I mean, credit to management that they have enough trust in all the players. अब अपना क्या था? Back in the day, we we're not trusting DK enough, or we're not trusting an XYZ enough, So that's the thing. You're in the middle, you're changing your philosophy completely. I always go back to DK because DK ka personal mera ek wo hai, but I'm just saying you didn't trust him after the point that he could have been a better player for you in the death. I'll always come back to India, but that's
One
my thing.
one
That's
bowler
my
mostly
thing.
we actually didn't see in the eye test, and he's your boy, Haris Rauf. Incredible dala hai उन्होंने भी. Haris Rauf has actually gave a pep talk to Naseem in the third over. He was about to start. He gave him a pep talk saying कि भाई खाली length पे डाल, and तेरे को तेरा over it'll be a good over. And I think Haris Rauf जिस तरीके से bowling करा आज उन्हें crowd puller था, उन्हें आज अलग ही जज्बे में था, जोश में था, and I think he bowled splendidly throughout the
And
tournament.
that's his second home ground, right? He plays for the Renegades
Yeah,
or the Stars, I think, in the BBL. So he plays in Melbourne and he knows the ground by himself. Also, like in that India game, he was bowling really well, man. It's just Virat Kohli genius that got the better of him.
Yeah,
But Haris Rauf
absolutely.
is an excellent bowler, man.
No, but you could see the intensity today in his performance, and he's fired up. He was ready to go. He gave the bowlers that much needed experience and example that they needed on the pitch. के भाई,
That's why I'm emphasizing Sam Curran's performance even more because उसके पास ना पेस होता ना रन अप है वैसा ना उसके पास वो एग्रेशन है छोटा सा बच्चा ऐसा जगह बेबीज डे
Justin
आउट चल
Bieber,
रहा है
Aggression both
Justin
hai,
Bieber
boss.
है.
Aggression both hai.
हाँ
Aggression both hai.
aggression है.
You've seen it.
हाँ
Seen
मतलब
his
इतना
face.
क्यूट है ना दिखता नहीं मेरे को एग्रेशन like I know he gets
He can't help that he's not tall enough like Rauf. It is not in his hand.
I
बिल्ली
know
भी हाँ मुस्तफा बिल्ली भी क्यूट दिखती नोची जब उन्हें भी खतरनाक दिखती बिल्ली
कौन
भी शेरी से भाई बिल्ली कैट
oh okay cat no so yeah that's why I rate that Sam Curran performance today really highly Don I'll come to you first before we wrap up the show we're almost done but I just wanted to say from Pakistan's point of view where do you go from here I'll tell you why I'm asking this question I know that they bowled really well today they took the game deep they fought really well they made sure they didn't give up they fielded well as well against New Zealand they had a brilliant performance in the semi-finals but let me take you back the first two games of the tournament. Over there, they lost to India, they lost to Zimbabwe, and everybody was calling for Babar's captaincy. I always do call for that captaincy, but I'm not talking about me, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Shoaib Akhtar, the big panelist, Wasim Akram was saying that why didn't you take Shoaib Malik to the thing and everything like that. Cut to, this is our team, 92 repeat hoinga, ye hoinga, wo hoinga, sab shuru ho gaya. So where do you go? Because it is confusing, man. I'm asking you generally. I'm not making fun of anybody or saying anything. Because where do you go with this? Because अब क्या होता मैं बोल रहा हूँ नेदरलैंड्स का गेम नहीं जीते तो बाबर का कैप्टनसी अंडर द स्कैनर रहता था, right?
Yeah.
Now where do you go with this?
The press, the media, the fans are very, very short memory. Sabki short memory hai. People will forget, because that is what it is. 1 week, mein things change completely. Okay, now they're all saying, "Okay, it's perfect. This is our team. This is everything. This is ye, wo, ye." Everyone's talking about that only. I still think that as a bowling unit, they are sorted. I think they have some other bowlers in the wings that are also doing pretty well. They have some spin options as Umer Kadir, everyone. They have a few options available. And as a bowling unit, Usman Kadir, sorry. And I am not worried about like them as a bowling unit. I still think that they need to look into their batting a little bit more. I'm not saying that middle order has, someone like a Chachu and a Shadab have pulled them through in difficult situations. But now the Haris and Shan Masood have also been good. So I think 3, 4, 5, you're sort of sorted over there. I still think that they have to think about what you're thinking about with Babar and Rizwan opening because it's eventually going to catch up. Rohit and KL ka catch up hua. This is going to catch up. Babar and Rizwan ka is going to catch up because the world is moving towards that demolishing opening unit. So if you are thinking about a Fakhar Zaman over there with a Rizwan who can rotate around, then you have a Babar at 3 who can be the anchor again, and then you have everyone at 4, 5, and 6. You can't play Shan Masood, Babar, Rizwan, and I think these are 3. You can't have 3 anchors in your team. You can have 1, max 2. And if Rizwan and Babar are those 2 anchors, then unfortunately, as good as Shan Masood has been, then you have to look at someone like Haris at 4. You bring in a Fakhar Zaman as your opener. You play in Babar at 3. Then you have Iftikhar, Chachu, Shadab, and everyone to finish it off over there. Because that's how you're going to move forward. You'll have to think about, upping the pace and getting to that more 180s more consistently. And that's going to happen when you have hit out or get out batsmen. So think about that. But overall, I think the team is headed in the right direction. hopefully they can start thinking of that, that taking their team to the next level, because they have also, to with credit to Pakistan, they've also been consistently performing in the semi. This time they got a little bit lucky, but they last time also semi-finals mein aaye. 2019 World Cup maybe semi-finals तक आए थे. No, 2019 World Cup they had a
Yeah,
bad tournament.
We came
Uh,
fifth.
quarterfinal.
they
Yeah.
sorry they had a bad tournament, but since then they've sort of become better. Last time maybe they were the favorites going in because they were doing very well. Australia का वो Hassan Ali बेचारा drop छोड़ दिया, उसके बाद change things changed. This time also finals, so they've been consistently performing well. I think that now it's the time for them to start thinking like the England cricket team is thinking. How can we improve and get to the next level. Our bowling is more or less sorted. Batting में थोड़ा अपने को 19-20 का फर्क करना है, कैसा करेंगे, क्या करके कैसा we get it to the next level.
Not apart from only 2016 and I think 2014. Those are the only times they didn't make the semifinals. Otherwise, they've been making the semifinals since 2007. So
I think Pakistan is that gives you that, Pakistan is that kind of a side that will always be there and thereabouts. Usli everyone was like, उन लोगों को खत्म कर दो, no खत्म कर दो, because last day में उन लोग आके फिर change कर दिए, because they were still outside chance था, जो भी था. South Africa choke हो गई, they got the chance, they made it to the finals. This is what happens in Pakistan cricket. 2007 में भी finals में आए थे, 9 में they won it, 10 में they were there and thereabouts I think, and then I think one or two bad seasons, but again after that they've been consistent. So that's what I'm saying. Everyone talks about Pakistan because उन लोग क्या कर सकते, we don't know which Pakistan side turns up, but if they want to be consistent, which they have been, I think that they have to work on that fine tuning of their batting lineup now, and they have the capability to go far consistently again, and I think they are due a big one now soon.
yeah, Faiz, you wanted to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, just like Don said, I think it sums up everything. I mean, Babar, short sightedness तो रहती भाई हर टीम का एक प्रॉब्लम है. हर टीम like हर कंट्री ऐसी है, हर फैन ऐसा ही है कि भाई they will
And
be
वही
angry one
fine
minute.
margin है, नहीं, is a fine margin की like
It's a it's the price you have to pay for the fame, bro. I think वही है वो. It's like भाई it comes with your
no, I know
contract
that, but
as.
I'm saying that South Africa जीती, which you normally expect, which should happen 9 times out of 10. And the
Yeah.
whole discourse changes. So it's fine margins that you're matching out. So for me, if I'm looking at it, again, I felt Pakistan for me are always going to compete in knockouts. They're gonna come, they're gonna challenge you. You should be always be aware of them. But for me, there is still something you need to make some changes in this team because
I
they're almost
think
done in this tournament, right?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that they need to learn how to finish matches and they need to be that complete team. And when saying complete team, they need to stop being dependent on other teams like we've seen in the past. Like you said, rightfully in this team, they're dependent on
And
Netherlands to
ruthlessly
be
close
South
out
Africa.
games.
They
Basically.
need to be like an Australia or like an outright finish. हम हैं यहाँ पे. We are Pakistan and we're going to take ourselves to the World Cup rather than expect like लोगों का चंदा कलेक्ट करके हम कहीं जा रहे हैं वैसा अभी. That's what I completely understand what you're saying, and I think
Also,
for that.
I think with this talent, they just need a bit of ruthless mentality. Like at times, वो Matthew Witt का innings हो गया, यहाँ पे Ben Stokes का हो गया. They just have to be a bit ruthless in big games, not go into the emotions and everything. Just play cricket as it is. Because अगर आप देखो तो even in the build up, this happens with India also. So it's not just Pakistan. कि भाई ऐसा है 92 है, ये है, वो है, Babar, Imran Khan, this, that, and everything. And I'm not just talking about the players here. I'm talking about the whole media. So whereas England, it's not really like that. In football, ज़्यादा रहता है, it's coming home this and that. And cricket, they just mind their own business and they continue. So you just need to look at the game separately and then go through like that and be a bit more ruthless.
Yeah, I think for Pakistan it'll be difficult when you compare them because the way even their country is similar to India,
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit difficult to shut out the noise. But definitely, I think what they can learn from England is the unity and the togetherness as a unit, as how to be. And I mean, Babar has been
And
doing
they're
that
doing
very
that.
well throughout the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, throughout the World Cup. But when it comes to the management side of things, it's not that unified as you see in England, where the selection is also discussed, and you have a proper format where you have a T20 captain, a one-day captain, a test captain.
Yeah.
You make those kind of changes. You kind of create a system where PSL players are getting the chances in the T20. You formulate plans where you can see, someone like a Chachu or someone like who you feel is getting old, you call it a night and you say goodbye. I think you have to make those tough calls. You don't prolong those players anymore. They're just not they fit in your 11. Maybe at some other point of time you can obviously ask for the services, but it's high time. अब PSL में इतना talent है. We've seen a lot of players coming up from there. And I think they just need to systemize and strategize what's best for the team rather than think about the media and stuff, and just be a whole unit together. And I think Matthew Aiden is the perfect coach for Pakistan at this point of time. We've seen that he turned around things for Babar, and Babar started, managed to score to 50. And
He's
today
not the
also he
coach.
was he's not the coach.
He's the batting mentor. Come on, tell me who the
Yeah.
coach is.
क्या बोलते हैं
I'm not
कोच
testing you
वगैरह
here. You know it. I'm not testing you here. You know who the coach is.
कुदरत का निजाम कुदरत का निजाम is the coach. Yeah, so Sakleen Mushtaq, I thought he was the bowling coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think these guys need to, sort of, they have so much experience, and they've played in the main era of cricket, like Sakleen and Hayden. They've played in like matches like we've seen, and those matches we can't forget. And they've played against the best of the best. So I think it's just got to be an effort which requires combined temperaments to sort of calm down and sit together and have a chat.
And I think the good thing is they're a young team. I think only 2 or 3 players are 30 plus. The rest are in their 20s, and they've gotten now to a semi-final and final. So as you build to the 50 over World Cup, I don't know who's going to be picked for that format, but as you build to that, at least these guys have been playing together now, and they understand each other well. They do back each other. You see that on and off the field, and I think they have a bright future, this Pakistan unit. But as a Pakistan fan, if I'm a Pakistan fan, I have to accept that you're going to lose to Zimbabwe, you'll beat South Africa. These things will happen. So the volatility won't stop, and this will happen with India and Pakistan. When Pakistan, it's a bit like on a higher level in terms of you're out of it and suddenly you're back in. This will happen.
And yeah, that's perfectly what you just mentioned. Like they need to stop that relying, that relying factor that they have. They need to start standing up for themselves and start saying कि नहीं भाई हम group stage में हम top of the table जीतना है हमें group stage, because once you lose to Zimbabwe then you're just gonna be like अरे भाई वही, and अभी जिस तरीके से बाबर को praise कर रहे हैं and stuff, obviously people who were angry last night probably are not so angry today. But I think if I was a Pakistani fan, I would still sit down and say, you cannot lose to Zimbabwe. You cannot, इतना मरते मरते आप नेदरलैंड से नहीं जीत सकते. आप नेदरलैंड से 92 बनाने में आप 14 ओवर्स लगाए, 92 बनाने में आप 14 ओवर लगाए. चलो नेदरलैंड अच्छी साइड है, I'm not gonna, they have certain good bowlers, but आप पाकिस्तान है, आप एक top 10 in the world में आते हैं, आप top 5 में तो भी आते हैं कम से कम, आपके pace attacks top 1, 2, 3 होंगे pacemen in the world. So that kind of a stature जब आप है, आप you're a lion but you're relying on like a deer to come and give you the meat. So that's stupid.
Yeah, no, 100%. But thank you so much, Fez. It was a great episode. Thank you, Don, as well. He left early, but it was great to have him on as well. It was a great World Cup, great tournament. Really enjoyed it. Congratulations to the whole England team. Outstanding white ball team this is. And, still plenty of cricket ahead. We have some bilaterals coming up, and then, cricket will never stop. So we will continue our content. We'll also discuss a bit more about the T20 World Cup in the coming days and do some fun review shows, and then after that we'll look at the bilaterals. India bhi pahunch ke with New Zealand. We have the England tour of Pakistan continuing with the test matches, and we still have plenty of cricket to look forward to. Until then, Fez, thank you so much. It's been a great journey over the last 3 weeks. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to Vinay, thank you to Abrar, thank you to Ashish Punter, and then of course Ryan, the main guy. He's been outstanding. These guys, and he's been a breath of fresh air, man. He's been like he's way younger to us, but he understands the game more than me at times. Much his reading of the game is brilliant, and that's why I was saving his name. He's the guy I think who really I learned a lot from this, but it was just everyone. Thanks to everyone's support, and Fez, you're brilliant as well. Almost there every day you're here, so thank you so much. And I will catch you hopefully tomorrow. Until then, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the latest cricketing content.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.